Hi, gang. Rob here. It is the afternoon of 17 February 2021. A very, very sad day and a very glorious day. If you are an American patriot and someone who knows the Lord Jesus Christ, I guess it was about a little after 1 o'clock today when I got the news that Rush Limbaugh had gone home to be with the Lord after a year or so battling lung cancer. He was diagnosed with that disease in its late stages, and don't think he when he got the news thought he would be here as long as he was afterward. But as with all things Rush for the last 30 plus years, uh, he had things he needed to help get us through, didn't he? And he did. Wow. I'm 55 years old, so I was about 23 when I first had the opportunity to start listening to Rush Limbaugh. Wow. I think in my market, we were an hour behind in the beginning, so we had them from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. every weekday. In the last decade or so, we've had them live from noon to 3. You know, there have been three men, I guess, in my life who were influential on a national scale, uh, who taught me what it is to be an American, what it is to be a patriot, what it is to bear the legacy of our founders. First was someone I became acquainted with through my years in my grade school years, Paul Harvey. I spent every day's lunchtime in my sixth grade year uh, in my classroom with my teacher who listened to Paul Harvey on his lunch break, and a few of us who were kind of aware of our world in the sixth grade sort of gravitated toward Mr. Kress's desk at lunchtime when we should have been in the cafeteria or out at recess. But yeah, first was Paul Harvey, and then uh, several years later, the first president that I had the opportunity to vote for was Ronaldus Maximus, the great Ronald Reagan. His words were a big part, played a big part in forming me into the man I have become. And then in the late 80s, a man named Rush Limbaugh transformed the AM radio industry. Frankly, we wouldn't have AM radio today were it not for America's anchor man. He transformed the nature of AM radio. He reinvented talk radio and was the most successful radio broadcaster of all time. In an era when television started more and more to be dominated by uh, the liberal national media, radio, AM radio was the refuge of conservative thought. In the beginning, it was just that, a refuge where we could go to hear this guy from Cape Girardeau, Missouri, broadcast in syndication. We didn't even know what AM radio was until we found out he spoke our language. And then for the next 30 plus years, we became his, uh, his faithful audience. His life was not without its bumps in the road. He was not a perfect man, but he never wavered when it came to extolling the virtues of the United States of America. I've shed tears twice in the last year. The first time is when I watched him accept the Presidential Medal of Freedom in the midst of President Trump's State of the Union address, as he obviously was not in great physical condition, but used every ounce of his strength to be there that night. The second time was today. You know, no matter how bad things have gotten in this country in the last 30 years, if we could just make it to noon, if we just could make it to noon, we could hear Rush confidently proclaim that all was not lost, that the war still waged. He never, ever gave up. After I came to Christ a dozen years ago or so, I started to listen to Rush a little differently. I knew that I had respected him and learned so much from him over the years, but I wasn't sure he knew what I had come to know. And I've watched over the last decade or so, with the advent of his brother David's books, a great man of the faith, by the way. I've watched Rush either return to the faith of his youth or find Jesus for the first time. And it's been a beautiful thing to watch. It's been a beautiful thing to watch how he's handled with such grace the end of his life. It's been so beautiful to watch the outpouring of appreciation that he has had for his audience of 30 million people as they have poured out love to him. The level of appreciation he had for that was just a beautiful thing. He's talked in the last year about his relationship with Christ, and it's been a very positive thing for me to watch. Sorry about that. My mount is coming loose. It's been a great comfort to know that Rush has drawn near to the Lord. As those of us who loved him without ever meeting him commend his soul to the Lord, I'm reminded of a great hymn of the faith, the old rugged cross. And he'll call me someday to my home far away, where forever his glory I'll share. I will cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it someday for a crown. Today's your day, Rush. We will miss you. Your shoes not able to be filled by one man. I will pray that someone takes up your mantle, that God gives someone the strength to do what you have done, whether it be one person or a coalition of people. We need that voice. But for today, let's reflect on the full life of a great man. Rest in peace, Rush Limbaugh. Grace to you and peace, my friends, from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Remember, the word is sharp. Talk to you soon.